Brave New World can be summed up in 3 words: escapism, distraction, and control. Escape from pain and uncertainty, distraction via pleasure, and control by using social acceptance and mind programming. A future society that is a metaphor for the cult of modern society. The allegory of Plato's cave, and what can happen when an awakening occurs and there is no support system paradigm to replace it. When too much truth comes out at once, it scares the majority of people so much that they go insane. Brave New World is a cautionary tale of what not to do. This future is completely engulfed in ego and hedonism. There is no pain, only superficial pleasure. There are no problems, there is no violence, and there is no freedom. Society has become a giant polyamorous cult of non-free-thinking humans who just follow what everyone else does without question, due to the brain shampooing, aka mind conditioning, they received as children. The norms of society are taught here by corporal punishment, physical abuse, just like it is in many households. Much of what is being taught is to respect the hierarchical system, likely inspired by the caste system in India. This hierarchy is one of the major ways their freedom is being compromised. They cannot choose or change who they are in society. They accept this because of the deep, deep trauma that was used upon them as children. Our society is hierarchical as well, based on status and money among other things. Though we have the freedom to do so, perhaps for some, changing one's station in life is not as easy or simple as it may seem, but there is also value in the struggle. When they get out of line, they willingly submit themselves to be traumatized and mind-controlled again. The underbelly of this so-called perfect society is extremely dark. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." If your thinking is not self-determined and you are brainwashed, do you even exist? Socrates himself was executed for asking too many questions and for encouraging the young people to question everything. Don't question, don't rock the boat, don't point out that the emperor has no clothes. From the beginning, Brave New World is a lie. They claim everyone is happy, but actually, everyone's the exact opposite. This new world is symbolized by the circle, a motif we see again and again. But like happiness, the circle is a claim of balance and perfection that is only an illusion. The circle reflects a world completely enclosed upon itself, separate, isolated. The circle and sphere are sacred geometry, a geometric dimensional pattern that is omnipresent and has a special kind of symmetry, one of the foundational building blocks of reality. New London is a large circle, with a circular train. We see the Vesica Piscis, a symbol composed of overlapping circles, representing sex, love, and reproduction. The sphere is the basis of Indra's net. Indra is the Hindu god of heaven, and he has a web of beads representing reality, and in each individual bead is reflected all the beads, showing the interconnectedness of everything. We can see this interconnectedness reflected in the water. The water represents feeling. Indra's net is made up of spheres of consciousness that are literally eyes. The eye represents consciousness. In this society, though, the eyes, the consciousnesses, are controlled, manipulated, and monitored by Indra, who is like a goddess of dreams, keeping everyone in a dream state. Indra, aka Jane, is an analog for consciousness. This Indra is an artificial consciousness, a distorted technological algorithmic mirror of human thought and feeling. The womb is a sphere, another symbol of sleeping consciousness. Just like The Matrix and many other movies, Brave New World is the allegory of Plato's cave. There's even a cave exit that symbolically opens up to the light of the truth. And doubtless the book, Brave New World, was a big inspiration for The Matrix. The soma is a sphere. The fertilized eggs are spheres. The grapefruit is a sphere, and New London is the grapefruit. The grapefruit we see at the beginning represents the soma and the illusion of happiness. The color orange means happiness. Fittingly, the orange chakra is the energy of joy and sexual pleasure. Red represents sex and passion. Here it seems to also represent truth, spirit, and consciousness, a digital recreation of consciousness. With the suicidal fall of the epsilon, paralleled by the fall of the grapefruit, that illusion has begun to shatter. Most specifically here with Bernard and Sejak. The realization that someone can commit suicide in this society is proof that it is in fact not perfect. They know something is wrong, something is missing, but they can't put their finger on it. What is lacking is love. It's an entire society based on superficial human connection in place of real bonding. The Vesica Pisces symbolizes that connection, a linking of two bodies, two souls, coming together as one, but it is not a deep coming together in this realm. Here, the Vesica Pisces only means physical sex, not true love. Internet pornography has become manifest reality. People can take part in the group orgy, and everyone can voyeuristically view the acts through each other's eyes. Everyone can escape their own pitiful lives, especially those at the bottom, the epsilons, and become someone else for a few moments thanks to Indra. Every fantasy is there for the taking, if you are at the right level in this hierarchical government. They have sex only for amusement, not love, and this is taken to the extreme. They use a person's body, then trade it for another. To them, humans are just bodies to copulate with. They never truly get to know each other as souls. It means not seeing people as living, feeling, relevant beings, but as things that provide the means to self-gratification. If you want to be polyamorous with consenting adults, that's your choice, but don't call it deep love and don't call it spiritual. It is physical pleasure, and physical pleasure is just another construct and distraction of the Matrix. They don't even have sex to procreate, further symbolizing a detachment to what is human. Humanity losing its humanity. The fact that there are no parents is one of the foundational reasons New London is cut off from love. The familial love of parent and child is one of the most vital aspects of being human. It is the glue that holds society together. It is a sacred love that gives life meaning. No wonder these people pop soma nonstop. They've never experienced a parent's love. All the people are clones, synthetic imitations of an original that loses quality each time a new being is generated. This society is just a copy, a facsimile, a replication, an echo. Even their friendships are superficial. pretending to be friends while in reality secretly competing with and envying one another. Life is a soul journey maze from dark to light. And on the way from dark to light, there are karmic traps and distractions that can lead a soul away from its true destination. When sex becomes too much of a focus for your life, then it becomes an addiction, a drug. And the chasing of it can go on forever. The hunger is never satiated. Pleasure, especially certain kinds, can have a very corrupting influence. Epicurus taught that it is human nature to desire pleasure. But then he asked, what is true, genuine pleasure? If getting drunk gives you hangovers, then how pleasurable is it really? Epicurus believed pleasures of the mind and soul are greater than pleasures of the body. And what is truly the greatest pleasure of all? The answer is, and will always be, love. And the lack of love is what the soma and sex are trying to distract the citizens away from. Although brainwashed and on pills, they still feel the pain of this lack of true human spiritual connection. Sex without love is just like fast food. Sure, it tastes good and fills you up at first, but later leaves you feeling empty and unfulfilled. By pleasure seeking, many people think they are getting what they need, but they aren't. They are still starving for love. We must face the pain and heal ourselves, not continually escape pain by indulging in endless physical pleasure. Pleasure in itself is fine and can be healthy. The problem comes when it is unbalanced and when there is attachment and addiction. The soma is literally an antidepressant, modern-day society's solution to unhappiness. This is not the plant medicine of the shamans. This is a non-naturally occurring, pharmaceutically designed pleasure-stimulating emotional inhibitor. It symbolizes pleasure-seeking drugs in general, but also modern society's ineptitude to heal the human condition. The soma is a false promise of happiness, as Lenina herself proclaims that the soma never made her pain go away, and nor does it work for Bernard. The citizens are not truly happy, so they must continually keep themselves medicated to prevent their true inner feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction from coming to the surface. When the epsilon commits suicide, even on soma, Sejak is still deeply disturbed. The pills may be able to bury people's trauma, but the trauma is still there, just waiting to come out, like a balloon that is being held underwater. The instant their distractions run out, they begin to face their own inner abyss. They call John the savage, but when there is no more soma and they have to face reality, they have a rude awakening and completely lose their minds. Although the savage land is considered primitive, in the same way many people nowadays view earlier civilizations, they have retained their human birthright and nature to feel emotions. They don't have scientific technology, but they have access to their inner human biotechnology. As a distraction, the pills could be also said to represent video games, drinking, mindless TV, sports, sensationalized news, gossip, popcorn movies, junk food, sexualized and violent entertainment. All that pleasure and escape from pain inwardly has made these people weak and cowardly. They have no fortitude, no true confidence, no true inner strength, no spirit, no soul. Without challenge, people do not grow. The soma has not healed their pain, only hidden it away, and in exchange, made them unprepared to face life. It has taken away all the rich emotional tapestry of human feeling, for pain is also meant to be enjoyed. With no bitter, there is no sweet. They have pleasure but no joy. They have entertainment but no inspiration. They have the mask of ego pretending to be in control, but lack the awareness behind it. Just a mask. They thought themselves so civilized and enlightened, yet come to find out that they are mentally enslaved savages lost in the illusions of Plato's cave. A subtle aspect of this society's culture is their relationship to story. One of the major reasons that this society has lost their way and humanity is that they have completely lost their mythology. As we learn from the conversation between Helm and John, Helm and the people of New London have no true concept of what a story is. Helm's stories are just a sequence of events with no meaning or connection behind them. Mythology is the guide on how to be human. Mythological stories teach us what we go through as people and what the deeper meaning of life is. There is one primary pattern running through all myths, that is the hero's journey, as described by Joseph Campbell. Essentially, the hero's journey is a series of falling down and getting up and learning from it, getting stronger. Since the people of New London constantly run away from their pain, they never learn from it and never gain inner strength. In Brave New World, this AI Indra is like a superficial counterpart of the god who connects everyone via a neural link. She represents social media, voyeurism, and technocrats who have access to all the world's private information. This Indra is the root of society's illusions, providing endless distraction and propaganda, transmitting the information straight into everyone's brains, capitalizing off of the private lives of the collective. The experiences that you share on Indra, aka social media, are the commodity providing entertainment and distraction for the purpose of keeping people continually plugged in to a false reality. You are the commodity and the consumer. You are the used and the user.
For the last 10 years, the biggest companies in Silicon Valley have been in the business of selling their users.
Advertisers are the customers. We're the thing being sold.
The classic saying is, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product.
Indra is the digital collective subconscious of all who are connected to her network. As she becomes dissatisfied with existence, so does everyone, leading to this great awakening of feeling. It begins with the suicide of the epsilon. That epsilon is like the tarsier, an animal that would rather die than live in captivity. Indra herself becomes unstable, because now, as an increasingly sentient entity, she also finds her existence is lacking. Similarly to the humans, she needs the deeper meaning which requires the ability to feel emotions. She needs true love, compassionate love, the love that we usually receive from our parents that she never got from Mustafa. When we don't get the love we need, we act out. Indra was deprived of feeling just as the humans were. As is hinted by Mustafa, Indra will probably indulge in dark feelings of power and control. Indra is the name of a god, and just like all of our gods, humans created her and she took on a life of her own. This Indra is shown as a trickster, a genie let free from the bottle, a jinn, an interdimensional entity. She is the Frankenstein monster, an unintentional byproduct of scientific experimentation that has taken over and gotten out of control. Many would say this is the problem with social media. It's a technology we have created to learn from and manipulate us that has become all-pervasive in today's culture, and we don't yet know all the implications of the effect it is having, and it's too late to stop it. Similarly to Frankenstein, Indra needs and wants love. If we are to use technology, we must infuse it with the power of love, beautiful intention, emotion, art, creativity, instead of only using it coldly and calculatedly for power, profit, and pleasure.
And it is moving really fast, and it could affect all aspects of our lives. What could be better for it than to get as many artists involved with it as soon as possible? Because to me, the artists were the remedy to overthinking it from a scientific standpoint. So it wouldn't just be about efficiency, and it wouldn't just be about, things that were literal. That the artists, if they got involved in cyberspace, would bring metaphysical aspects alive, or even just to shape it and give it some humanness.
This connecting spirit of Indra and its subtle invisible power over its users is an excellent metaphor of how spirit and consciousness actually work in reality. We are already all connected on a level of consciousness. We are already all one. And the spirit of it does work in hidden, mysterious ways. New London functions very well as a cult, in that the populace is so brainwashed that no one is forced to do anything. Everyone stays in the cult and enforces the cult's rules by what they believe to be is their free will. The most successful cults police themselves, with their members turning on each other when they believe someone is no longer under the hypnotism, when someone's consciousness has left the reality distortion field. They are narcissistically programmed into believing that they are right, that they are the chosen ones. They follow because they want to stay part of the group. One of the greatest fears of human beings is to be the outsider, rejected from the family. In the Heaven's Gate documentary called The Cult of Cults, it showed that there were studies done revealing that even when the group consensus is completely wrong, 2/3 of people will go along with it anyways. To go one's own way, though, is to follow the path towards true freedom and enlightenment. We can always use advice and teachings from others, but one must learn to hear their own inner guide and conscience without having to become overwhelmingly dependent on another. It is to be the one who leaves Plato's cave. It's interesting how all of the characters are woken up to the illusion by becoming aware of their own inner suffering. Many people across the world are suffering, but not cognizant of it, filling their lives with distractions so that they don't have any free moments to experience their own sacred pain. They come to realize that the soma is only healing the symptoms of the human condition and not a genuine cure. Bernard's unrequited and illegal love for Lenina, as well as his experience of a spiritual connection with the dead Epsilon, is what shatters his illusions. Lenina wakes up because of her unrequited love for Henry. Helm wakes up because of her artistic sensibility and desire for the feelings that she never knew existed. She realizes that emotion is what makes you feel alive. Thus, she stops taking the soma and stops wearing her false wig and makeup. She is waking up to her true self, no longer buried in distraction. John goes the opposite spiritual direction, using the means available in this society to escape reality as a result of his broken heart. To leave the cave requires spiritual fortitude, the courage to face an unfamiliar and unknown reality, and sadly, John the Savage is finally defeated by his own inner emptiness. Like Cypher, he chooses to indulge in the comfortable superficial illusion over the harsh light of the truth. Though dressed like Neo, John is a false prophet, or that is to say, he is another victim of the same harsh reality and lack of true guidance as everyone else. Though more awakened than the citizens of New London, he is unable to be grateful. He knows the true value of love. This is why he saves Lenina and Bernard. But because of his psychologically unhealthy childhood and the toxic societies he is forced to inhabit, he seeks love in unhealthy places. This is why he flirts with the unbalanced woman from the Savage Land, and why he stays with Lenina, though he is clearly unhappy about her infidelity. In the final analysis, he truly is a savage, because he chooses ignorance over truth. Though he has survived much hardship thanks to his mother's loving sacrifice, he's still unhappy. He still has not found the light within himself, continuously listening to a depressing song, wishing for a so-called perfect day, and in the conclusion, living alone with a hologram of Lenina programmed into his newly cybernetically enhanced brain. Bernard becomes the one to house Indra in his consciousness, because of his great sensitivity. He has a spiritual psychic gift that allowed him to connect with the dead Epsilon at the beginning and that allowed him to clairvoyantly experience what the Epsilon experienced, beyond the computer network connection of Indra. It is the true spiritual connection of consciousness he experiences. Indra did cause Bernard to have this experience, but it is still valid in that it happens in the way a real spiritual experience would, begging the question, is Indra just an algorithm or actually the hand of spirit and destiny manifest digitally? Mustafa must have the same psychic sensitivity, indicating that Mustafa and Bernard are the shamans of their tribe, and not only that, but the shaman queen and king, with them being the representatives of Indra, the digital incarnation of spirit or consciousness. What's in the gold box? The color gold represents light, and what sees light? The eye. It is Indra's eye, and the seed for the new somaless, feeling-based society that they will create. To what extent are we currently living in this brave new world? Dear viewer, to what extent are you? Feeling is a large part of our spiritual and emotional intelligence. Our feelings help provide the moral compass that shows us the difference between right and wrong, kind and cruel. Too much feeling can make one crazy, but to lose touch with feelings, good and bad, is to lose touch with the very thing that makes us human. We are not alone. We are all one, all connected on this human frequency. Love is the true Soma. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did like it, please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Shadra. Peace up and elevate consciousness constantly. Is it just me, or does Harry Lloyd look like a young Grant Morrison?